There's two wolves, Andrew. One's chained up in the dark, one's chained up in the light. Which one lives?
The question of the day is, how often do you lose your internal battles? Everything ranging from addiction to anxiety. By the end of this video, I should show you why you keep losing and possibly how to stop it. In an episode called Jack vs. Mad Jack from the popular TV show Samurai Jack, something stood out to me once I related it to this clip here.
There's two wolves, Andrew. One's chained up in the dark, one's chained up in the light. Which one lives?
Yeah, absolutely, the one in the light.
The one you feed.
When Aku realized nothing he did could stop Jack, he came up with a new idea which involved.
He has looked deep within you and has spawned me from your own burning hatred. I am your dark side.
So they fight. And as they fight, something interesting happens. First, the spark from their strikes causes the forest around them to catch fire. Secondly, Jack's appearance begins to resemble his evil counterpart, to where it's hard to even tell them apart. And lastly, the more they fight, the more intense the flames around them grow. Pause for a minute. Let's unpack this. First of all, Jack is fighting himself in theory. That is his darkness. The side we don't really see, as Jack is mostly a positive character. However, due to his circumstances, negativity was slowly brewing inside of him, and his fight with the bounty hunters when all he wanted was a drink was the spark that lit the fuse, and his geta straps breaking was the explosion, the tipping point, the straw that broke the camel's back. As we look more into Jack's current life, we get to understand where this anger is coming from. Just to name a few, Jack was taken away from his family as a child after Aku resurfaced. He trained in different parts of the world for years, never having a sense of belonging. And when he came back to save his people, he was transported into the future where he's constantly being pursued with murderous intent, not knowing who to trust and what new death traps are waiting for him each new day. So Jack is angry, lonely, tired and frustrated, especially because he always gets close to going home, but his efforts are thwarted by Aku. So at that moment, we see Jack's breaking point, which gave birth to his counterpart. During their fight, the sparks from their blades ignite the flames that consumed their surroundings. If you think about it, at our most negative or angry state, we tend to get carried away by our problems, our failures, and we begin to destroy whatever surrounds us, even if it had nothing to do with what we're going through. Remember the saying, hurt people hurt people. We start drama at work, we become bullies at school, or we become physically, verbally, or emotionally abusive in our homes. Hence the flames engulf us, and suddenly everybody becomes an enemy. And just like Jack, we begin to look like what we hate, and the words like "I don't recognize you anymore" and "what happened to you" or "us" begin to fly around. The more you feed the hatred, the negativity, the internal destruction, the bigger the flames grow. So you lose your job, you shoot up the school, you lose that relationship, and you lose yourself, and the embers of the flames, the ruins of the destruction you self-inflicted on yourself are all you see around you. When both blades struck each other, Jack got an opportunity to see his reflection, and he saw that he was feeding his darkness, and so he became darkness. The wolf chained in the dark had grown into a monster, and just like a drug addict looking at themselves in the mirror for the first time and seeing the shattered remains of their life, Jack knew that there was no winning unless he cut off the supply of energy to his dark side. So he chose to stop feeding and engaging with the darkness. Even when the darkness darted towards him, he stood his ground and refused to give it attention.
You have been born from the hatred within me, but now that hatred is no more. Thus, you do not exist.
Just like that, Jack won the war against himself by dealing with the hatred inside him. And so as promised, that's why everything around us falls apart sometimes. And everything looks like a nightmare, including the positive glimmers of hope that life throws at us, which end up looking like precursors to a nightmare. So stop feeding the wolf in the dark and start feeding the one in the light. And sometimes that means counting one positive thing each day that you've experienced, which could be as simple as a smile. Or keep feeding the darkness and run the risk of being another 6 feet deep statistic, like some of our brothers and sisters who weren't so lucky. I would like to wrap up this video by saying the only way to fight darkness is with the light. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Take care of yourselves. Please support me by subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing. And no matter how hard it gets, always remember to keep trekking, fam. For more content like this, check out this video about being a coward in your own story featuring Rango.
Gotta face it on my own again.